Zay, and today I wanted to watch Three Disturbing True Midnight Horror Stories animated, and it's animated by MJV Animations, and I just thought it would be interesting. Like, let me check. Yeah, MJV Animations. So subscribe to them if you haven't yet. They are so cool, and they're allowing me to react to this. So this is gonna be interesting. I cannot wait to see this. What kind of animation stories are inside of this? What kind of horror stories? Yeah, I'm not gonna watch all of it. I'm gonna skip through some of it. Like I might cut it in half or something so I don't watch all of it. If you guys want to watch the whole video, then go to their channel. Um, but I'm gonna watch some of it just for the funsies. I love these kind of videos. Let's see what happens here.
Me and a childhood friend of mine, I'll call him Ethan, were out in the forests of Maine on a short camping trip. We both were fairly experienced. However, this was Ethan's first time going to this spot. I'd been there plenty of times before, though, so I knew the area pretty well.
Dang, man, you look
We
tired.
backpacked down a several-hour-long trail to get to a clearing in the trees that we set up camp in. I think we arrived around 6, so after setting everything up, we built up a nice campfire and made food, then cracked open a few beers and talked around the fire as the sun set around us. It was a chill, enjoyable night. I want to say around 2 hours into the night, though, we both heard what we thought was something moving around just outside of our campsite, like in the darkness, past what our campfire was lighting up. We looked and saw nothing, and for the rest of the night, we heard nothing else.
Man looked like
We
he was
thought
in
it was
shock. He didn't
probably
look like he
just a
saw
small
nothing.
animal scurrying away. Honestly, if nothing else happened, I never even would have remembered it or thought about it again. That's how insignificant it seemed in the moment.
Okay.
If you're unfamiliar with camping, it might seem strange, but being out here all the time, those kinds of noises happen a lot
Yeah,
and
they
are
do.
almost always nothing to worry about. Once we had our couple drinks and started getting tired, we called it a night and poured out the fire, then got in our tents and fell asleep. In the morning, we woke up early, as this spot was good for a reason. That reason is because there was a very secluded, private pond just a half-mile through the woods from the campsite. Nobody knew about it, because the trail didn't actually lead to it. It was really nice, though, having a mini waterfall and small river running through it. We spent most of our morning there, like a whole 3 or 4 hours. Eventually, we headed back to make food and rest for a bit. I even took a short nap. Again, though, around 6, the sun was getting lower, and we hadn't collected any firewood yet for the campfire. Most of the dry sticks lying around the camp we used up last night, so I had to do a little more searching to collect what we needed. Midway through, Ethan said he was going to take a walk around and just explore the other areas, but would pick up whatever he could on his way back. I said sure, and just continued
See, that's
grabbing
normal
sticks
stuff
off
to
the
do.
ground.
You
Ethan
gotta
did this
explore where
pretty
you're
much
at.
every time we were out camping. I think he just enjoyed having some time to spend alone and to just take in the nature. Anyway, I got a good amount of firewood and sat back down at the camp, just wasting time until Ethan got back so I could start the fire. The sun got lower and lower, and eventually I just kind of realized it had been a strangely long time since he'd left. Usually he wasn't out this long, and he was experienced enough to know to not be wandering the woods
Your
so
friend's
close
dead.
to
I'm
sunset.
joking.
The only way we had to keep in contact out here, where there's no service, is through our small satellite messengers. We kept them on us at all times in our small waste packs, along with bear
That's not
spray
enough.
and other stuff like that.
I mean, it's enough, but
It's
it's
usually more of an SOS device, but in situations like this, it came in handy too. I pulled mine out to send him a message, but saw that he'd already
not. See, my only issue is if you do get an SOS, what do you do? Like you don't. If they just send the words only SOS to you, you don't know where they're at. They could be 12 miles away from you or 2 feet away from you. Like you don't know where they're at. So that's an issue in itself. If that is the only thing that you get from those kind of things, does it allow you to text like words and sentences, or is it only just like SOS? Because then you just freaked. Okay, you freaked if you stuck out there.
Just a few minutes ago. Ethan said he got kind of lost,
Okay,
but happened to stumble back to the pond. I sent a message saying to just stay there and I'll hurry over to lead him back. Being lost, it's always best just to stay put.
You know where he's
at,
but he don't know where he's at.
Any more lost.
How is that even
possible? Both me and Ethan knew that. So me knowing the area, I quickly started heading to the pond. At this point, it was really just a race against the sun. Even having headlamps and knowing the area during the day,
you guys are already in a horror
movie.
It
would still be really easy to get lost at night.
You said as soon as you said we in a forest hiking at night, and he got lost.
4 or 5 minutes
it's
away
a horror movie.
When
That's it.
I got another message. I reached into my bag and checked it, assuming it was just going to be him checking in or asking for an ETA. But Ethan sent the words, "I see you."
What?
What did he mean?
Nah.
I see you. I wasn't even near the pond yet.
He creepy, okay?
I stopped and looked around.
He's stalking you
confused, now. Not seeing him anywhere.
He said you're the prey.
I said I wasn't there yet and didn't see him. Slightly worried, I started moving faster, basically running to the pond. I got there quickly, running up to the tree line before the water. Ethan wasn't there. From where I was, I could see the whole tree line around the pond, and he wasn't anywhere around. I felt blood rush from my face and pulled the messenger back out. My last message saying that I didn't see him hadn't been opened. I called out his name, hearing my voice echo through the trees.
Ethan,
the sun was nearly gone, and the forest was getting quieter
Ethan, come
and darker.
out. Hang out with me again.
Maybe he already started heading back, like he somehow remembered the way.
He's like, I know the way, actually.
But where
like
else
he just started running in that direction.
With the daylight practically gone, I knew it was safest for me to head back and figure things out from the camp.
Your friend is stalking you.
I didn't start the fire yet, so if I waited too long, I'd never be able to find the campsite in the dark.
You better run like him.
Feeling uneasy as I moved through the trees and felt the woods get darker and darker. All I could think about was the ominous last message he sent. I see you.
I see you.
It was nearly pitch black by the time I was a minute or so from the clearing. But then I saw something.
What'd you see?
A flickering orange glow right from where the campsite was. As I got closer, I could see that the campfire was lit and someone was standing right by it.
Yeah, it's your best buddy.
I started approaching, feeling a wave of relief, knowing Ethan had made it back safely.
Why ain't saying nothing to you?
But when I got closer, the person suddenly shifted and looked toward me, then sprinted away from the fire and out of the campsite.
That ain't a human, it's a ghoul, man.
I ran up, confused and terrified. That wasn't Ethan.
No, but he gonna eat you. I
pulled my messenger back out and started spamming texts.
He probably already ate
At this point, I was seriously worried and disturbed by what was going on. But just a minute or so later, Ethan came running out of the woods and into the campsite.
Yay!
He had a face of both fear
Our man
and
is still
relief.
here.
He immediately said we had to go. I agreed, mentioning the guy I saw by the fire, and him saying it was likely the same guy he saw approaching him by the pond. He said he thought it was me, until he got closer and realized it was someone else. Apparently then, Ethan tried asking if the guy knew how to get back to the trail, but the man didn't respond. He just kept walking forward, revealing a really unsettling smile across his face.
You mean this one?
And according to Ethan, something about him looked really off. Like
he was
face
smiling
was
for
uncanny.
no reason.
Something just wasn't normal about it. This sent him into a panic, where he just ran in the direction he thought was most likely toward the campsite, getting lost again, but eventually seeing the fire and going toward it. We packed and left. The hike back was unnerving to say the least, but we did manage to get to our car and leave. This event made me rethink back on the whole camping trip, remembering the movement we heard outside of our camp on the first night, and just putting all the pieces together. Likely, the man that was out there was watching us the whole time, waiting for one of us to be alone. Even just thinking about his presence outside of our campsite as we were talking, sleeping, and everything completely unknown to us,
He
is
was a
extremely
part of that
disturbing.
trip with you guys. What do you mean? He was
We
literally your
still
buddy.
talk about that camping trip every now and again, but never plan to go back to those woods.
Good story. Whoever that was, I liked it.
I was taking a short getaway alone to an Airbnb about 6 hours away from where I lived.
Ethan.
I didn't
Ethan, where
choose
are
it
you?
for
And
any
who is that
reason in
random
particular.
guy
I
standing
just
there
opened the
smiling
map
at
on
me?
Airbnb and looked for something cheap and somewhat isolated in a smaller town, just so I could get out of the city and enjoy some quiet for a few days. I didn't actually care about how nice the town was, because I planned to be in the Airbnb pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
The house I booked was alone in a
He
small
said, I booked the
forest
house so I
inside
can
of this
sleep in
really
it
small town,
and live in
and
it
it was
forever.
the only house listed on Airbnb for that whole area. The good price reeled me in, though. I made the drive, mostly through empty wooded roads, until I got to the house. I guess it was more of a cabin, though, if I'm being honest. It was older and surrounded by trees, with no other houses or buildings in sight. I opened the creaky front door and brought everything in.
Dude, if the
So
door
the only
creaks,
thing I
you know
needed
you
to
better
do
leave,
before
right?
settling in for the next few days was
Literally,
go
you
to
just
the
entered a
grocery
horror
store
movie.
and stock up on some food
This is the
and
end
drinks.
for you.
I drove into town. It was mid-afternoon.
You have to
but
drive
there were
into
almost
town?
no
Dude,
other cars
all
or
of the
people
red
out.
warning signs are
Maybe
there.
it was just because I was from the city, but even for a small town like this, it felt like I was driving through a ghost town.
Man, you're getting flag
And when I
after
walked
flag,
through
and
the
you're
grocery
ignoring all of
store,
them.
it was just as empty. The few people I did pass by, though, gave me a strange, cold look, following me with their eyes
They look
as I
like they want to
passed by
fight
them.
you.
It almost felt like they all
He looked like he
somehow
want to throw
knew
down.
that I wasn't from here, and they didn't like it.
That guy looked like he
It
finna
was
rob
really
you.
weird. I got what I needed and headed back to the cabin. By then, I think I'd mostly decided that I was just being paranoid over nothing. There's no way those people actually cared who I was. I was just some random person in a grocery store.
Well, they more likely just wanted to bust down right then and there. They were like, what are you looking at, man? You know? That's the vibe I got from each of their stares. Even the robber was like, maybe we should just fight. Do you have an issue with me? You know, it seemed like that, but it might have been more of the... That guy, I don't know that guy. He's gonna die. I think he's gonna die, and he's probably inside of that haunted mansion place off the road that everybody keeps trying to, sell to other people.
I shook it off and felt better knowing I wasn't going into town for the rest of the trip anyway. I unpacked and watched TV in the living room. That whole night and the next day was nice and quiet. That following night, though, it was pouring outside. A storm had rolled in and didn't seem like it was going to stop or slow down anytime soon. I was cozied up inside, of course, laying on the couch half asleep, when there was a knock at the door to the cabin. I shot up and looked at the door.
Nah,
there's no way
what you
someone
doing?
was outside the house.
There's one thing you never do, and that's acknowledge whatever that is. Bro, you are snottily, you're giant chilling. Like, just keep big old boy chilling on that couch, slumber it away, you know? Really get it out there. Bring out a bag of chips. Let the chips fall on your chest. You know, who cares about people knocking on the door? Ignore all of them. Even if their car broke down, they're in the rain. Ignore it, because it's most likely going to end with you dead. You almost got fought by like 40 people inside of the grocery store. You don't want this energy.
In the middle of the storm, I checked my phone and saw no texts or anything from the Airbnb host. It was also just that one knock at the door.
It's just...
I took a live online course while I was preparing for my FE
Yo, if it was just one knock at the door, that is insane.
After maybe
you think I'm answering
seconds,
the door if you knock
I got
once?
up and walked over.
I'm walking out
when
of the door.
I looked out,
and
I didn't
past
see
you.
anyone, although it was really dark and there was no porch light. So without opening the door, I couldn't make out all that much. As the minutes passed, my mind stumbled to every possibility that wasn't someone knocking at the door. Like maybe the storm blowing something over, or even me dreaming it while being half asleep. I think I really just didn't want to believe someone was out there, because I knew how unsettling that would be.
Yeah.
I laid back down on the couch and
They're
had
just
the
like
TV
that one
on,
last guy.
sort
He's
of
watching
paying
you.
half attention and just laying there. A decent amount of time went by. I wasn't keeping track, but if I had to guess, I'd say about an hour.
What if it's all of the grocery
TV
people?
was
It's
fairly
all of them.
quiet,
People that were in the grocery
but the
store, they are
storm was
out there
still
watching
going
you
on.
right now.
Between those sounds, though, there was a sudden cough behind me, like a man quickly coughing and trying to cover the sound. I jolted my head back and looked. Immediately.
That is actually so funny to think about. He's just like, like that, trying to cover it really fast. Well, that he's just like, is someone coughing over there? It's like that one thing where, someone sneezes inside of the room and then you say bless you and then you're like, wait a second. I'm the only one here. Like that. That's the same energy.
Seeing something move away from the outside of the window. I'd only caught a split second of it. Not enough to even make out if it was a reflection or a figure. But obviously hearing the cough gave it away. Someone was outside the Airbnb. I knew they had to have been watching into the cabin through
if
that
you don't
window,
close your curtains,
which instantly sent chills through me. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, telling them I think I was...
Yo, if my mom was there, she would have had those curtains closed, okay? She would have been like, okay, they could see through this. We cannot allow that. We need all of the curtains to be gone. It needs to be closed. There cannot be any holes available for peeping, of course. That's her. That's his energy. He needs to have it. He needs to have that. What is wrong with him having the windows wide open, clipped up and everything? He said it needs to look pretty while it's open. Like, bro, close your windows. Close your blinds. Close them all, okay? And you don't want nobody crawling through your window saying what's up to you in the middle of the night when you be chilling on the couch, okay?
being stalked and that someone was creeping around outside. The storm was too loud for me to hear any footsteps, so I had no idea if they ran away or were still around out there.
Bro, they are under the window laying down, just like you were.
When a police officer showed up only 3 minutes later. I opened the door and started explaining what was going on, but the officer was visibly unbothered by anything.
Bro said, I don't care.
When I finished explaining, he just responded with, "That's it," as if it was no big deal. The officer didn't take down any notes or anything.
It's no big deal to him.
He had that same cold look as everyone else in the town.
Like he finna fight you?
He almost seemed mad at me, like he was genuinely upset for making him come out into the storm to help me. He said he didn't see anyone when he pulled in, so if something actually happens, then to call.
Dang.
Before I could say anything else, he turned his back on me and drove away. I honestly couldn't believe it. That made me feel even less safe and even more disturbed by whatever the hell was going on in this town.
That's messed up.
This whole town had me on edge, and knowing something wasn't right, I decided to call it early and just get out of there. I locked the door and started rushing to pack my things. I was only able to get my backpack opened and begin stuffing clothes into it. So like maybe 60 seconds went by after the officer left before heavy knocks slammed against the front door again.
Bro, the cop is
this
barely
time,
getting in his car.
They didn't leave. They continued to bang on the door. I only checked out of the bedroom window, confirming the cop car was gone. So I knew this was whoever had been watching me. I hurried, packing everything I could in just 3 or 4 minutes. I thought about calling the cops again, but honestly, I felt...
Wait, what if the guy's only knocking, so he's opened the door and then he's like, yo, your blind's open. Close your window, close your blinds.
I felt like it would somehow only get me in trouble, or that the cop would somehow take the other guy's side even if he did catch them. But then
he probably
they
ain't in the
suddenly
neighborhood
stopped
enough
knocking.
for them to care about you.
The storm felt like it got increasingly louder. I couldn't hear if they left or not, so I quietly walked up to the door and looked out. I saw nothing. No one was out there. I knew I needed to leave whenever I had the chance, so I had my backpack on
Just because
and
you
my
saw
car
nothing
keys
doesn't
ready.
mean there ain't nothing.
I was at the door for about a minute or so before I just happened to glance back. And again, at that same window, I saw something move. I knew this was my only chance to make a run for it, I swung open the door and fled out of the cabin into the storm.
Yeah, you better
My
run.
heart was racing, knowing the person was probably running around the house to get to me. I got in my car, turned it on, and pulled out of the driveway. With the heavy downpour, I couldn't even see more than 10 feet ahead, so I don't know if they had chased me or not. They could have even been right behind me, running up to the car as I pulled away, and I wouldn't have been able to see them. I drove down the forested driveway until I got to the road, then left town and drove all the way home without stopping. That was the most unsettling and creepy experience of my life, and I think it's worse because I don't know why any of it was happening, or even who it was creeping around the cabin, watching me through the windows and banging on the door. I keep thinking about the weird feeling I got in that town, thinking maybe people knew that the cabin was an Airbnb, and them hating outsiders for some reason. They went to extreme measures to get rid of me. It almost gave me the feeling that I was in the middle of a town that was all part of a private cult or something.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
If I decided to stay that night, things might have escalated past the point of no return. Luckily, I didn't have to find out, though.
That's good. Oh. We're gonna end it here. So, alright. Bye, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations for me for next time, for a next reaction, then please leave it in the comments. Tell me if you like this, and tell me what you would do in any of the scenarios.